just happened.
What's up, everybody?
What up?
Chat. All right. Welcome to the show again. It's Wednesday. Obviously, well, it's Wednesday depending on where
you live, yeah.
Where you're living, if you're watching this live or not.
True that.
So, yes, Storm is going to stop using factory polish altogether. So any balls that used to come shiny or that they would want to come shiny are going to come at 4K fast. They're not going to polish anything else. Plus, this is going to make it a whole lot easier for you to replicate factory finish. It's also going to keep the people that, buy a ball and then throw 2 games and give it away. That's going to reduce that quite a bit because that factory gloss, and this is something, if you watch me, I've been complaining about this for a long time. The Idle Synergy was the first one I noticed it on like a year and a half ago. And it was just wretched. So I started I like factory shine. I started taking the shine off of my own stuff and recommending that everybody else did it. And then I just kept seeing people, this ball just went 60 feet and never hooked. I'm like, it's the gloss, take the gloss off, get rid of the gloss. And so now this is, an unfortunate situation, but they are now not using any kind of compound or whatever else on there. So you're not going to get any false readings or anything with that stupid durometer. And they put another video out about that. We'll talk about that in a second.
Answer this question because you'd be able to answer that. Whatever happened to DH bowling?
Oh, Canada has been on a whole lot more serious lockdown than the States here. And so they didn't get back to bowling near as quickly as we did. I think they're still even kind of slowly rolling things back. And so I think Darren and Haley just got so far out of it and they were down for so long. And then I think they had trouble getting stuff into Canada again. And so I think it just got to be one of those things that it was a year and they still couldn't really get anything done. And so they just, Haley's involved, I think, in her own hair salon now. And Darren's still bowling. I saw him, he's on Team Canada and whatever else. So I think that they kind of just let the YouTube thing go. So I don't know. I might have to.
I see what you did there, though. They're slowly getting the things rolling.
Yeah. But I'm Tess.
Yeah.
All right. So my brother, but we haven't had Norseman beer on here for a while. My brother's got a new one out called Doppelbock.
Doppelbock. It's got a cool name.
Yeah.
It's better than Frank's Red Hot sauce. Just saying. Somebody said in here, there it is. Seems like he's the type of guy that could do it, though. No problem. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I could do it. I'm not going to, but I could do it.
Yeah. So funny enough, once upon a time, my brother and a couple of his friends found something called Sam Adams Triple Bock. Oh. And he asked the guy at the liquor store, he's like, well, we see, double bock, triple bock, whatever, what's a triple bock? And he said, well, it's one above a double. And they thought that back before they really knew anything beyond drinking beer, they thought that was kind of a funny answer. So I might have to get him to do, a triple bock and just call it one above a double.
That's good. I like that. By the way, that might be my new favorite Norseman beer. That is really, really good.
This is my first time trying it.
That is really good. My personal growler there now says that I need to come fill it up with this. Or my personal mug, not personal growler.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's got a lot of flavor.
Yep. That's big on the Taste Terrific scale.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow. All right. So right before the Storm put out another Durometer video. So I haven't put out anything about this yet, but they put out a Durometer video last, Friday, something like that.
Yes.
That kind of showed, the testing method itself. Mm-hmm. They weren't trying to do anything beyond show you this is the testing method. These are kind of the variables that we can find in it. These are the extremes. This is this, that, and whatever. And they got a lot of questions on it. And I argued with a bunch of people online about it, and just people fixated on the actual testing results. It's like the whole point of this is to show you that this durometer, there's a bunch of variants, just a bunch of natural variants, because number one, it's a super sensitive instrument. We're talking with, very, very small measurements. Yeah. And I used to work in a testing lab. And so there's some of them that you just have to have some kind of set procedures. You have to include a tolerance with it to say, okay, well, if it's, in the case of the durometer, it's like, well, if it says you're supposed to be at 73 and you test something at 73, it doesn't mean it's 73.
Right.
It could be 71, it could be 75 because of all the natural variances and stuff. And then once you even go out further beyond that, you could get even wider variance, and that's something that we dealt with all the time. And so it's something called standard deviation, which is just, well, there's only a certain amount that you can control all the variables on. There's only a certain point to which you can control this stuff, and everything else you have to involve a range of saying, well, it says this, but it could be this and it could be this based on, and still be in this, range here. And the testing specifications that USBC uses on this stuff are very, very loose. And so that increases the standard deviation further. Right. And in the past, USBC has given tolerances. When the Purple Hammer thing first started, they were giving, tolerances to that. I said, well, it's down here, but this thing kind of varies. And so we can give you a little bit of leeway on it. Mm-hmm. And they did in the past, but now they're not giving any leeway at all. And so Storm just made a video. Obviously, it's costing them a bunch of money. And if somebody, came at your business and said, hey, you're doing this wrong, and, you're going to have to, if a company was facing a bunch of recalls or something over an issue like this, right, where their product there wasn't actually anything wrong with the product, I'd be fighting back on it too. If somebody was trying to cost my business, yep, $1 million or something.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, you're not going to go down. It's not going to, oh, okay. So to the people, there's a lot of people complaining about, oh, it just makes, Storm just looks like they're reaching and whatever else. I don't know how they're reaching. They're showing, I mean, the ASTM, this is something that's even beyond Storm or USBC or whatever. The American, the American Standard Testing Methods, I think, is what ASTM stands for.
Right.
And they establish stuff like this because it's used all this. I used to work in concrete research, and so hardness obviously was a thing. So I have experience in this very specific vein of compression testing, and they have something that they call a rebound hammer or a Swiss hammer that you can measure, in place concrete that you can't get a cylinder of and go actually break it. So it's a hammer that you load on a spring and it pops it, and then it measures how far it rebounds, and that will tell you the hardness of the concrete. So they have all kinds of things that they do with that. And again, you've got to take several readings because you're not going to get the same exact reading every time because it's not necessarily an exact science. So you something like that, you have to get a bunch of different data points and then create an average.
Interesting.
And then you have to have a variance outside of that. And then, like they showed with the durometer too, when you have such sensitive testing equipment, there's a standard deviation in the calibration too. So, I mean, you can't, just because you calibrate something doesn't mean that instrument is going to be absolutely 100% perfect. If it's that sensitive, there's a little bit of variance in that too. Mm-hmm. And especially if you're using like a scale or something that goes out to like the 10,000th or whatever, yeah, you can tear or zero it out. And it may not end up on perfect 0, 0, 0 because you're talking about a 10,000th of a pound or something, which right, is nothing. I mean, it's going to, you stick a feather on there and it's going to read something.
Yeah, Storm did just put out another video about a little less than an hour ago, following up on the questions that people were asking in regards to the last video from Friday. So
yeah,
we actually just watched it right before we came on the air.
So we got through that, and there was a bunch of people that were asking, okay, well, they showed, so there was a bunch of questions that I ended up arguing with people for several days that they actually covered in this video. So why did you test all the balls in question and show that they were passing or not? And number one, so I'm thinking, okay, so you believe USBC, right, you're already not believing Storm. So what if they did or do show the results? All you're going to say is they tested a bunch of them. They cherry picked the ones that they found that were within specification so that they could show us on camera so that they could say, oh, look and see.
Yeah.
But when USBC put out their numbers, they estimated that 100% of altered realities failed. Right. That 98% plus of everything else failed.
Right.
So if 100% of altered realities they think are under spec, Storm just put one on there, and all the readings were 74 plus.
Yeah, they were all 74 plus. Yeah.
So I guess Storm cherry picked and found the one altered reality that's not supposed to exist that was hard enough.
And they were actually testing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Weren't they testing returns?
Returns.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So, and everybody could say, "Oh, they're just cherry picking the returns to find the hardest ones and whatever else." And then you have something like the other thing is that they covered. It's like, well, why don't you pour bowling balls harder? And so this is the other thing with the urethane balls that get softer over time. Mm-hmm. Reactive resin gets harder over time. So they tested a new fresh high road pearl versus a 5-year-old high road pearl. And the 5-year-old one was 1.5 points, 2 points higher than the fresh one, even though they did everything the same. And actually, even then, they had the other thing where polish affects. So polish will contaminate the needle and give falsely soft readings of about, point and a half, something like that. So the new high road that they tested that came in at like 74-ish had the new 4K fast surface on it that we'll talk about in a minute. But the other high road, they just left it polished from 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So that should have read, if they'd have taken the shine off of it, it's possible that it would have read even higher than what it did. So it was already the new sanded one versus the old polished one.
Right.
Was 2 points different already. And so if they take the polish off of it, maybe that even jumps up to, 77 or something.
Yeah, they were testing high road pearls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like how they just found a 5-year-old brand new high road pearl just sitting around.
They have, I'm sure.
Oh, I know.
All kinds of stuff laying around all over the place.
It's been sitting there for 5 years.
Yeah. So they answered it in the second video that they just put up an hour and a half ago. They answered everybody's questions. Yep. Everybody said, why don't you do this? Or why didn't you use the electronic durometer?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, USBC doesn't. They just use the handheld one. So I said, well, it'd be better for this, that, and the other. And, the last thing that we come down to is Storm doesn't want some of these cover stocks soft. Something like an altered reality I can believe, because they want that to be, it's a stronger ball. And so softer helps the ball hook more. It helps it, blend a little bit more. And that's something that you want in a stronger ball. So that's why I was saying, okay, well, I could buy it on some of the stronger stuff. But on something like a Phase 4, they don't want that soft.
No.
Because the Phase 4 R2S Pearl, you want something to skid snap. Mm-hmm. Something that's too soft is not going to skid snap. It's going to be really early and blendy.
Yeah.
Or it's not going to be really early, but it's going to be earlier and a whole lot blendier.
Right.
So some of those covers, they don't want soft. So R2S, Reactor, so some of these balls involved had me really scratching my head, because I thought they don't want the Alert too soft. They don't want an RSTX2 too soft. That's not one of the balls, but it's just another one that I'm thinking of. They don't want the High Road Pearl too soft. They don't want
Spectre.
Yeah, they don't want the Spectre too soft. They don't want the Phase 4 too soft. And so, if it does turn up that it's their factory gloss that threw the readings off, it'd be rather ironic, since I've been complaining about it for a while, but obviously not complaining about it for that reason. But
which I think is what's leading them to I don't think it is what's leading them to the 4K fast finish.
Yeah, so now they're just going to avoid this period. So I would go check out the Durometer videos, and if you still have a problem with it after those Durometer videos, I don't know what to tell you. Don't talk to me about it, because it just, and some people have said, well, you know what, USBCs, we're not talking validity, accuracy, whatever else.
Right.
These are USBC specs. USBC had a problem with those balls not meeting the specs, or whether they were polished, sanded, didn't decide to use the tolerance, whatever else. These were the testing methods. This is what people agreed to. So that's just the story. It's like, okay, fine. That's a very lawyer-esque thing to say. But I think that after the way that they handled it, the way that they've been handling a lot of these situations, you can't continue to bankrupt company or try to bankrupt companies. Not that this is not going to happen to Storm, but I've been really vocal about this thing with Motive since it happened. It's like, so a hundredth of differential is a big enough of a deal that you're going to almost bankrupt a company.
Oh, it almost killed them. Almost killed them.
It's just absolute nonsense. And then the way that they handled the Purple Hammer thing, it's like, I think that they probably did that the right way, saying that, okay, well, these models are going to be way too soft, and some at bigger tournaments they should be spot checking stuff. If you go to, again, just when people check in, obviously Alex going through this Durometer stuff on Storm thing. I mean, yeah, it did take all those pros lugging all those balls. It'd take 5 employees standing there with 5 different Durometers doing stuff just as fast as they could to get all this stuff checked in time.
Yep.
But at the very least, it need to be done for the TV show, which some people could argue, oh, you've thrown this ball all week and they made the TV show and now they can't use the ball. They shouldn't have been allowed to, use it on the, use it during the week at all. We should have done this. But if they do testing every once in a while, then they can kind of keep track of things. And they found that urethane gets softer with age. And so that's why the PBA said no urethane older than 2 years, period.
Which is a good rule.
Which is a fair rule.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take shots at any specific ball. They just said, well, urethane gets softer with time. Anything over 2 years, don't care what it is, don't care how hard it was then, whatever else. But just if it's urethane ball, it's over 2 years old, you can't use it. It's done.
Right.
And in this situation, I don't think that, and USBC doesn't have any data on if hardness actually. They know it impacts ball reaction, but how does it impact ball reaction? Some things aren't good.
Yeah.
Like I think we talked about this last week, but companies can actually make balls with RGs up to 280. That's the maximum limit, but you never see anything. The Storm, the fight was 262 or 261, and I think that the Wild Streak here recently was 262. Okay. You're not going to see anything any higher than that, and even seeing anything close to 260, let alone over 260. The Purple Hammer was 265 or is 265, and that's crazy.
That is.
But you're not going to see any numbers higher than that because ball reaction gets bad.
Right.
The higher you get from that. The low end, I think, is 244, 246 or something like that. Once you get RGs too much lower than that, then ball reaction also suffers the opposite direction. Because there is a certain thing. It's like, okay, you can make a ball hook more, but if you take a ball to 180 grit, it's like, well, you're maximizing the hook, but you're also not doing yourself any favors as far as scoring goes. Just because you can make something different doesn't mean it's going to be beneficial.
Right.
And so all USBC really did on the RG and differential is kind of, took an existing range where the manufacturers were staying between anyway, and then they just kind of put fences on either side of it and said, hey, look, we did something. The manufacturers aren't going to go outside those tolerances anyway. And then with the differential, it used to be 080. Now it's down to 060, but the studies have shown that once you get up much north of 065, 070, the advantage levels off. You can only create a certain amount of imbalance, number one. And is that much imbalance really good? Because you're just going to suck oil off the lane faster. Yeah. You don't need that much flare. Yeah. So, again, they just kind of put a baby gate around where the baby was playing anyway.
Yeah.
So they put a baby gate around a baby in in a car seat or something.
Have you got any of the 4K stuff yet?
No, I'm going to get something with it on it, but yeah, Luis has got one coming out tomorrow.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, you'll notice the difference.
Yeah.
You should notice the difference pretty easily, I think.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Why the heck does USBC pay someone that much, but they can't seem to find money to pay PWBA bowlers? Chad Murphy makes $350,000 a year. And if you look at the salaries for now, if you're running an organization, it's not that's a ridiculous salary for somebody that's heading up an organization that has this much going on. Yeah. If you look at anywhere out in the corporate world, he's probably underpaid per whatever everybody else is doing. But for the job he's actually doing, I think a lot of people would feel that he's overpaid. And they have a lot of,
don't get fined.
He's $350,000. Yeah, they're a nonprofit company, so all this stuff is public knowledge.
Yeah.
So this is something that somebody sourced that you can just go find because they're a 503c nonprofit or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So everything has to be public. And so their salaries are public. He's $350,000 a year. There's a couple others that are 180, 160, 150.
I'm sure Rob Gottsel makes decent money.
Yeah, I didn't see his name on there, but
because he runs like the U.S. Open and the Masters. I believe he's the tournament director for those. So I don't. I'm sure he's got some kind of role, and he does something for the PWBA too. So I would assume he makes decent money. But
yeah, I'm sure he does. So as far as that goes, the test needs some significant overhaul. Is what it needs, because it's just not the way that they're wielding it.
Yeah,
it's not that accurate of a test, number one. And then again, every time somebody tests one of these balls, they can't find anything wrong with it. Or if they do, if somebody does test I saw some people with hand durometers, which you shouldn't even, which aren't even, they're so inaccurate that they're not even admissible. If you don't have the stand there, it's just
useless.
Yeah, it's again. So the only ones that have ever even been under 73 are hand durometers. So everything that everybody else has shown is around 74, and everything that Storm keeps showing is around 74. And of course, you have the people saying, "Oh, well, why don't they show how the balls test?" And then you're going to have to say, "Well, they cherry pick those." It's like, well, why'd you even want to see them show anything? Because you're going to just accuse them of setting it up anyway.
You're never going to make anybody happy. I should say, never going to make everybody happy. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. So
everybody.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. What's up, Blue?
What up, Blue? 350K finish.
Yeah. So Lou's getting away from baby duty here for a minute.
Uh-oh.
So he might even,
Congratulations
Oliver
on that.
might be watching right now.
Oh. Congrats again on that.
Yeah.
Little one, welcome the little one to the world.
Yep. Oliver's sleeping. Yeah. Doing a heckin' nap time.
Sounds amazing.
So.
Sorry.
That leads us to the 4K finish.
Yep.
So again, instead of adding polishing compound and shining these things up, which the gloss has even gotten to me. I mean, if I can't deal with the gloss, then there's something wrong. So they decided, instead of
Sorry.
Yeah, sleep. Yeah. Babies have it made, man.
I just saw the comment and I had to laugh.
Yeah, it's like, hey, share a little bit of that with me.
I'll have what he's having.
That sounds good. I'll have that.
Oh, gosh.
But, the 4K finish is something that... Segue. See what I did there?
Rabbit trails.
The natural.
Yeah. Carry on.
Yeah. So the 4K finish is something that a lot of bowlers have wanted anyway. Wriggles kind of jokes that he called the polished finish the 2-8-10 finish out of the box, because it's just so glossy that everything shoots past the break point, and it's either way too quick, or it just never sees it
and goes 60 feet.
And so you've either got to put 5 games on the ball, or you got to take the shine off. So you got to basically either reset the surface or wait until the gloss gets broken before you can even use the ball. But then or you can even really pay attention to the reaction. But then you have all these geniuses that, they complain about the price of bowling balls, but then they go and sell it after 2 games of throwing it. And, well, I just didn't match up with it. Well, that's idiotic.
2 games. That gets me every time I laugh.
So the 4K finish is still designed to produce shape for the balls that they want shape for. So Lou has a Zen versus a 4K, 4K fast Zen, and also the 4K finishing process is something that's repeatable. So it's something that, everybody said, James Sniffen says that he resets the surface because he can't replicate the factory surface anyway. So if he likes it out of the box, it's going to change. And so that's the other thing that people says, oh, I liked it out of the box, and then it just changed. It's like, well, it's going to do that because that's a hard factory finish. So now the process is actually repeatable. And so if you like the ball out of the box, you can actually repeat their process that they did to get it there in the first place. So there's no foreign chemicals on it. There's no polishing compound. It's the actual cover stock of the ball that they're just using a different sanding technique to get the reaction that they want out of the ball. So I think Lou was saying that there's not a whole lot of difference in actual shape, but that's why people take the shine off, because you can most of the time people go to 4000 or just use a 4000 pad to scuff the polish off, because you still get the shape but you get more stability. You don't have the inconsistency or the over under, the jumpiness that the hard polish can produce. And so it's a better surface anyway. Now, it's not going to look near as pretty on the shelf, but I think that they're kind of beyond caring about that at this point. And I think that Motive was actually ahead of the curve on this, because they haven't released anything. They have that, the 5500 laser scan sanded or whatever.
The shiniest thing would be the Flash, maybe.
Yeah, and then that's not even, they don't polish stuff. It's a very high grit sanding. They don't use any kind of compound or anything, I don't think.
Thinking the Flash was the shiniest thing that I had seen. I mean, you had the Affliction, but the Affliction wasn't. You could tell it came out of surface, or came out with some surface.
Yeah.
But
yep, you'll never replicate 1500 polish in a shop. I don't care what your PSO tells you. I would tell people, well, this is the surface that I like to get it. If you want polish on the ball, this is going to be the best reaction you're going to get with polish on the ball. But I never told anybody that they could replicate factory. It's just, it's impossible. You can't get it back there.
I always take shine off anyways, immediately. Before the whole 4K fast thing, I mean, what did we always use? It was React to Scuff. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. React to Scuff is amazing.
Yeah, to take scuff off, I either use React to Scuff or a 4000 pad, depending on what I want. And actually, I drilled a new ProMotion and an IQ Tour Nano Pearl here recently, and I actually took those up to 3000 because I don't. Again, sometimes they come out too chalky.
Yeah.
I like to kind of get them in there a little bit.
Keep in mind, there are a lot of bean pulse out there that minimally won't get over 15.
I mean, that's just with this entire situation.
Yeah.
It just, you can tell people, it's like, well, Storm spent 20 minutes showing you all the variants in the testing method and why the numbers should be taken with a grain of salt or with a couple points of standard deviation. Well, why didn't Storm just test the stuff to see if it passed or not? Because passing is kind of subjective. You can have, it's like, okay, well, if everybody else is testing them, they're passing, USBC's testing them and they're failing, those both technically could be true.
Yeah.
Because USBC's numbers weren't anything crazy. The altered realities were an average of 71.7 and all the way up to, I think, the phase 4 is at 72.7. So it's like, well, those are realistic numbers. They're within the 2 tolerance on that side. And then a lot of it, Storm's testing so far has been 73s and 74s with what they showed in this most recent video. That could be true too.
Yeah.
So again, it's not anything taking shots at USBC. All of the results could be valid because the ASTM calls that out and said, hey, there's as much as 2 points of variance on either side within the same lab, but as soon as you get outside of that, then there could be up to 4 points of difference once you start adding in the different variables, locations, machines, whatever else. So either USBC needed to set the spec at 75, but down to -2 if they want 73, or they need to set it to 73 and say, well, if it's in this range, then we'll count it, because there's got to be some kind of something. You can't have a hard limit with this, and they haven't had a hard limit with it in the past.
Right.
So it just doesn't make any sense.
None of it does.
That's all they were trying to show, and everybody just kept saying, why don't they test them and see if they pass? Number one, you're out and believe them. So I'm just waiting. I'm going to wait until tomorrow to look at all the comments and just see all the people
the cherry picking?
that wanted them to test the balls in question. That'll just settle it. Like, no, it won't.
No.
So they tested on all these balls that they tested. They got 74-ish. So, but you can get, because of the standard deviation of the test again, their results and USBC's results can fit inside the same window because of the variance of the testing. So USBC's tests don't prove anything any more than Storm's testing does.
And doesn't room temperature also come into play too?
Yeah, they have to be between 70 and 77 degrees, but you can get variance between. If a ball's at 70 degrees, it's going to test different than it is at 77 degrees, but you have that kind of variance in there.
Yeah.
When I used to test concrete, they had what they called a slump test. And so it basically measures how wet the concrete is. And they call for, the drier it is, the more it's going to stack up, the less it's going to consolidate. The wetter it is, the soupier it's going to be. It's typically not going to set up quite as hard because it's a little bit wetter. Now, there's some chemicals that you can use to make it wetter and still set up the way that you want it to set up.
Right.
But generally speaking, they wanted a slump range. Like if they're pouring curb or something, they want it drier. They want like a 2-inch slump. And if they're pouring something like foundations, then they're going to want a 4-inch slump or something like that. If they're pouring like a deck or something that they're going to have to finish, they might want it a little bit wetter than that so that they can work it so that it's not going to be so
kind of like a driveway. You want it a little wetter.
Yeah, you want it a little bit wetter. You want foundation walls or something like that a little bit wetter so that they come out smoother.
Yep.
But with the gross window of the procedure, basically what it is, you have this plate and then you have this cone that's kind of hollow. It's got a circle on the top, so you clamp the cone down to the plate, and then you have this procedure where you put in so much concrete and then you rod it all around to get it to kind of settle a little bit, and then you add the next lift, and then you kind of rod it again to get that to all kind of settle, and then you strike off the top, remove the clamps, and then you have 3 to 7 seconds to pull the cone from 0 to 12 inches, and then you measure. There's there was the arm on it that you held it by would go up to 12 inches above the board. And so then all you do is you take a tape measure, you measure the top of where the concrete fell to the bottom of the handle, and that was your slump. But you could you had 3 to 7 seconds to pull the cone 0 to 12 inches. I could make a test pass or fail intentionally and still be within the tolerance. Like if I thought, well, gosh, this is a little dry, I need to help them out a little bit.
Yeah.
3 or 4 second pull. It's like, holy crap, this stuff's wet. I'm going to pull it as slow as I can. And I do a 7-second pull. And so you can make a 4-inch concrete, 4-inch slump concrete, a 2.5-inch slump, or I could make it a 6-inch slump if I wanted to, based on performing the test within the specifications.
Right.
But I could alter the results quite a bit just by my operation of the test, and the durometer is the same way.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good comparison.
So,
yeah, it really is. I didn't realize you did that before.
Yeah, I did that for, I started with...
You've worn many hats in your life.
Yeah, construction inspection in 2008, and then that's after I was a heating and air guy. And then I went into...
right? Not
Blue Dot.
Blue Dot, yeah, Blue Dot.
And then I went to concrete research at the state for 3 or 4 years, and then the pro shop for a couple of years, and that was a terrible decision. And then bridge inspection for the last 5, and now I'm in bridge management. But somebody said too, or somebody else said something that's like, well, this is all beyond the fact that they were speeding and they got caught. Maybe you should just focus on not speeding. Maybe they should just focus on meeting the criteria or passing the test. I'm like, they just proved the test itself. How are you supposed to pass something with this big of a variance? And so I said, I'm glad you brought up the speeding thing, because it's like, okay, well, if you are driving 70 in a 70 and you get pulled over by a cop and they say, well, I clock you doing 75. It's like, okay, well, let's pull more speed guns. It's like, okay, well, let's try it again. Well, this one says 72. This one says 67. This one says, 71. This one says 68. So it's like, how are you supposed to focus on not speeding if one gun has you not speeding and another gun has you speeding? That's why cops generally give you a couple miles an hour over, because it's not an exact science. It's not something that's perfectly, if they have a gun that's calibrated, just because it says you're going 75 doesn't mean that you're going absolutely 75 miles an hour. It could be a couple miles an hour either side of it, just because of a bunch of variables. And same in this situation. So I mean,
Luke is the USBC of concrete inspectors.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Boom.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a good one.
But
And House Hacking here called you clickbait because Iron Man's not here.
yeah, I didn't have the helmet.
I am Tony
You
Stark.
bowled the Iron Man. So
I am Tony Stark.
segue. I needed something clickbaity.
We'll get into it anyway. We can finish the night with that. But did you want to touch some more on the 4K fast finish stuff?
Yeah, the 4K fast. Once again, you can go watch the video for that. That's kind of simple. So we're not going to have any more factory polished things. You're not going to have gloss to worry about. If you want to add your own polish later, that's fine. But I think the 4K fast, it's going to shine. It's going to lane shine up pretty quick anyway. Yeah. But it's going to get you the shape out of the box that you're wanting in the first place. Throw it a couple games. It'll lane shine. I don't really like. And so even on the stuff, I do like factory shine. But if I got something that had surface on it that I end up wanting shiny, I just will lane shine it. I don't ever polish anything. So
Lou's got a good question for you, too. Question for you guys. What actually makes a ball soft? The cover? Because P4 and High Road Pearl both are R2S Pearl with the same finish.
Yeah. So that's the thing is, the chemicals, they should be the same.
Mm-hmm.
If they're at the same surface, that cover is just that cover.
Right.
So I think that if they don't let it cure long enough or they cure it improperly, if they rush that, obviously the polishing compound creates false readings. They figured that out. It's not, because they did show that on the one Durometer video to where it said, okay, well, they figured out that the polish is not having a chemical reaction actually making the cover softer.
Okay.
The polish is getting on the needle and causing it to read incorrectly. So what they did is they went ahead and tested a polished one.
Mm-hmm.
And then they tested
the 4K fast finish one, right?
Well, not the 4K fast, but they tested a sanded one that had just come off the lathe that wasn't polished. Okay. And so as they ran through the test, the numbers kept getting higher and higher and higher as the polish got wiped off or removed from the needle.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not the polish making the cover softer, it's the polish causing false readings. So
makes sense.
Yep.
Mark's asked this question a couple times, but you don't need a ball spinner to get full benefit of a 4,000 pad.
Not necessarily. It helps to get a truer surface on there. I like using a spinner if at all possible, because if you do it by hand, it's going to come out rougher than if you do it with a spinner, especially if you add water. Water's lubricant. So
I prefer going by hand and then changing. So, look, I do service change, maintain even. I do service changes. Even over the weekend, I put 1,000 on a Black Widow.
Yeah, well, I mean, for league, I don't mess with surfaces a whole lot. If we're going to a tournament, yeah, I'll do something. Or if we go to nationals, then I'll do something. But if for just a house shot, I just go with lane shine or polish. So I kind of fall in the middle there. But yeah, if I actually need traction on something for a tournament, I'm going to take, when I go to nationals, I don't think I'm going to need them, but
bust out the pads.
Last year, my urethanes all went at 1,000 grit. If I need the surface, I'm going to put the surface on it. But
yep, I get it.
Yeah, so like Lou said, I mean, that's what gets me confused with all this, and that's what I said in the beginning. They don't want when this stuff all came out in the first place. I'm like, they don't want the Phase 4 soft. So if R2S,
I feel like Iron Man actually holding this giant can. Sorry.
So if R2S Pearl is too soft, everything's too soft. You don't, and that bears out in the USBC numbers, because I think the Phase 4 Wolverine Electrify Solid, which is Reactor, which is the base for R2S, those were the hardest ones.
Yeah.
The Altered Reality was softer, which again, I can buy that. They want that a little bit softer. Mm-hmm. They want more hook out of that. That's kind of the point. But they don't want the Phase 4 too soft. And so number one, I could establish pretty easy, this wasn't anything intentional. And Belmo said the other thing, it's like they put a lot of testing into this specifically to prevent this kind of a situation.
Mm-hmm.
And especially because there's been no testing done to establish exactly the benefits of something that's too soft. It hooks more, it blends more, but hooking more and blending more, you end up with an IQ tour that's going to ring 10 pins all night on a house shot. So you want some stuff. Yeah, you do want some early and smooth stuff, but you also want some long and flippy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so if the long and flippy stuff is too soft, that put something off for me from the word go. And then, they show all this. And that's the other thing I thought is, I done hardness testing, a lot of hardness testing, albeit it's on concrete, not on bowling balls. But it's the same thing. We'd break several cylinders in a set.
Yeah.
Or if I went out and did the rebound hammer testing, I'd take several tests from several locations. We did this stuff all the time. Hardness of concrete is a big factor in the performance of concrete, the overall strength of concrete. They order it based on the PSI.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't need that much, they'll go 2,000 or 3,000 PSI. If they want regular standard stuff, is about 4,000 PSI. Some jobs I've been on, they wanted 6,000 PSI, depending on what they needed. And so the hardness of concrete is one of those things that's very paramount to the performance of the concrete. And so in this case, it hasn't been tested or established exactly what kind of benefits, if any, that the hardness of a bowling ball offers. I think we can see with something like a purple hammer. But it's kind of a unicorn anyway. So I'm not sure that the hardness of the purple hammer I'm sure, okay, so it might have made it a little bit more forgiving. But a little bit more forgiving and a freaking beast, the new purple hammers are still pretty good too. It's not like the old ones are magic and the new ones suck. The new ones are a little bit different. They're not quite as good. But there's been some other stuff, other bowling balls in the history of bowling. The Venom Shock is ridiculously good.
Yeah.
That one's not too soft. So why is that one so good? And again, R2S, that's been hard. That cover's been around. They've used it on hundreds of different balls for the last decade and a half or whatever, and it's been hard enough.
Yep.
And so if that's successful and if that's something that performs well, why is all of a sudden, okay, well, it's too soft, and if it performs well because it's too soft, we can't have that. But if it performs well for a different reason, that's okay.
Yeah.
So there's very, very, very short jumps of logic to get to, certain places, and some people can't make those leaps, I guess.
Dog's on the move.
So some people got a little bit too much sugar in the tank.
What do you guys think of Belmo getting fined? I think it's ridiculous.
Can't start the engine.
I think it's pretty ridiculous. Not gonna lie. So,
and again, there's people that can say, okay, well, in the Masters rules, if you have anything that brings USBC or its officials into a negative light, you can be fined. Whatever. But again, what he just commented on the situation. They were the facts of the situation. He said, and he asked questions.
Yeah.
He said, why are they testing this? What are they testing? Why are they behind curtains? Well, it's still painted as a negative light. It's like, no, you painted yourself in a negative light. Somebody just asked questions about it. And if you're gonna, it's not like, they have this in other, like, baseball, football, basketball. If you complain about the officials, you're going to get fined.
You cannot do it.
But there's a big difference between asking questions and actually complaining about the officials.
Yep.
He wasn't complaining about the officials. He was asking what in the hell was going on, and he still got fined anyway.
It's got to be something to do with the pulling it on blast on social media.
Oh, yeah, it has to be. And you could, I would not, if somebody tried to argue, it's like, well, it's just the way that he worded it, even putting it on social media in the first place, making it public, making it a big deal, that paints them in a negative light.
It violated their social media.
They painted themselves in the negative light, and somebody just shined the light on them. But that's not unreasonable. If somebody said, well, that's just the way it is, I'm like, oh, well, that's not terribly unreasonable.
No, it's not.
That's nothing that I would really put my foot down about and say, oh, no, this is absolute crap or whatever. I was like, well, no, I could buy that, I suppose. But just the fact that they did it, I don't know.
And then if you want to hear somebody else's opinions about the whole situation, follow Richie Allen on Twitter. Boy, has he been very vocal.
Yeah.
May not agree with his stance, but...
Well, and I haven't really heard much of his stance. I know Mikey Pinnell's been talking quite a bit about it, and I don't necessarily disagree with his stance either, because, to be fair, everybody had quite a bit of fun with the Purple Hammer situation.
Oh, yeah, everybody poked.
And, and then now that this is like, oh, hey, now it's happening a storm, it's like, oh, no, hey, wait up a second. We need to put videos out and whatever else. And, Brunswick didn't really do that. They didn't do anything with of course, the Purple Hammer was a lot softer. It wasn't even close to, most of those were But at the same time, I don't agree with the Jackal situation. I don't agree with the Purple Hammer situation. I don't agree with this situation because once again, there's been no established anything about hardness of bowling balls and whether it's good, bad, indifferent, whatever else. And so having no information to go off of and knowing that the testing for this kind of thing isn't really an exact science, the extent or the measures that they're taking are major overkill.
Yep.
So in this situation, they should have just said, "Hey, your stuff's a little under." If we're in a 400-yard deck pour and they're not hitting their air percentage, you only reject the truck if it gets really bad. Otherwise, it's kind of like, this is close enough. You just call the plant and say, "Hey, your air's running a little bit low now, up a little bit."
Yeah.
On the next couple loads, and you kind of roll with it. But there was none of this given in this situation. So,
John, you said you've thrown the Widow 2.0. How do you like it? I like it.
I still got my Spectre. I'm waiting for one of them in sanction leagues.
Just got to figure out.
Maybe I could throw it this summer. Is our summer scratch league unsanctioned?
It is unsanctioned.
Man, that'd be amazing.
There you go.
I'm gonna have to ask Larry and Jesse about that.
Can
I throw my Spectre? I'll be there with it with bells on them because if I shoot 300 with it, nobody's going to care, and I'm not going to.
Yes.
I'm not going to get anything for it.
Yes,
so.
I'm pretty sure as long as it's unsanctioned, you can throw it.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yes, it is really smooth, really smooth. Hit that bad boy with 1,000. Watch how quick she picks up.
Yeah. So I don't know. USBC is way too prideful to come out and say, "Oh yeah, actually we did some testing on this. We screwed up. Let's kind of reinstate these things," and they can't. They've already taken the cap off and turned it upside down. It's half gone. There's no reason to.
No, that's not going to happen. They're not going to come out and be like, "Oh, my bad. Oops."
Yeah, I'm on the fence about how many leagues are going to sanction and how many aren't. I think a lot of people are going to, which is the really funny thing, is that people continue to complain USBC doesn't do anything for us. Where's our sanction money going? But they continue to sanction every year.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
We've also seen that they're behind on testing centers, stuff like that too. Yeah. I've read that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They can come down really hard on the integrity of the game when it comes to bowling balls being, a point soft in a test that has a 2 to 4 standard deviation in the first place. But centers that are grossly out of spec that people have just been clicking the box on every year. There's some places that don't even go check the lanes.
Flag gutters are too high.
Yeah. They just have something with the center and they just click the box every year. They don't have to provide any kind of information or submit anything. It's just a check box. It's a check box online is all they had to do.
Let's raise those flag gutters. Get those corners out.
There are a lot of people that didn't even do it. Now, we did it here until USBC said, "Okay, we're doing our own thing. You don't have to do it anymore." And so, I told the centers too. Especially since we charged them for it.
Yeah.
It was $5 a lane or whatever.
Yep.
And I think it went up to $10 a lane, and they were okay with it. But as soon as we didn't have to do it, I said, "We don't have to do it. I don't need to." USBC said they're going to do their own thing. They're going to figure their people out. We don't have to go do this nonsense. We don't have to charge you. You don't have to deal with this nonsense. And so we did it 1 year because they had the NAIA championships there and they
had to have it.
They had to have it.
Did you run tapes?
No, we didn't run tapes because they had their own.
Have you been trained to run tapes?
No.
I actually can run tapes. I used to do it with Kansas City's organization or association. And I actually enjoyed the heck out of going to centers and doing that. They don't like seeing you walk in the door.
Oh yeah. Well, this is whenever somebody shot a 300, they used to go tape the lanes.
Back in the day,
you couldn't touch anything before the association would have to come tape the lanes.
We checked everything from flat gutters to running tapes.
We did the same thing. So we did the full on, or we did everything but check tapes.
Yep.
Somebody else checked tapes, and then we stopped doing that. Especially when USBC removed the 3 mil.
Yep.
They made lane conditions easier. Number one, they upped all the tolerances, or they relaxed all the tolerances for the lane flatness. And then they just were going to give everybody grace periods until they rolled out their own program and had their own representatives traveling around and certifying the centers. That's been 3 years. Nothing's happened. Nothing's been done. And so why do they care so much about little minute failings in bowling balls that may not even be failings in the first place due to the variance of the test, but they've got centers out there that are just grossly, ridiculously out of spec. So how far do we care about integrity here?
I'm sure I could think of a few.
Yeah. So you still got to throw the bowling ball.
Bowling plenty. I'm sure I could think of a few that have probably need check.
Yeah. And again, some of them, the topography being outside of specs might even make it harder.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like a house shot. Everybody says, well, house shots are easy if you can't score in a house shot. Well, most people can't score on a 50-to-1 ratio. I mean, if you've got a crap load of oil in the middle and nothing on the outside, you're in a super cliff, and you're not going to be able to score on that anyway. And then if you've got lanes that are doing this, it's going to make it a super, super, super cliff.
Yeah.
So
sounds like a house shot in general. Cliff. Yeah.
The one big negative effect. I'll put this up on the screen.
The outside of nationals
this is a point that I need to know. If there could be a negative effects of not sanctioning.
Well, you won't be able to bowl big tournaments.
You have to you have to sanction. There's a lot of tournaments you have to sanction for. So you may not sanction your league, but you're going to end up sanctioning for a lot of the tournaments you go to anyway, especially nationals. You might as well just do it at the beginning of the year and get it over with. Don't worry about it.
Even if you don't even if you don't bowl a sanctioned league, just get your card.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to bowl something, just keep your card. If you're going to bowl something that you need your card for. Now, the thing for the leagues, the big thing is that if something happens to the league payout, USBC, it's bonded. So the USBC will cover those losses.
Yep.
So it's basically sanctioning is insurance against the prize fund is the biggest thing that happened. And that happened down in Wichita a couple years ago. Guy just lost the prize fund or something like that.
Yep.
And
was that North Rock?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. I think it was North Rock League.
Ouch.
And they lost the prize fund. It was like $25,000.
Ouch.
USBC took care of it. It took a few months, obviously, so people went without their money. But that is the major benefit. You also have the rules that are established so that now each league establishes its own rules. You can establish your own rules before the beginning of the season. You can not sanction, but decide to adopt all the USBC rules. It's just that you won't have the USBC backing from that. So in a situation like this, then you would have to have a league vote whether or not to adopt or not adopt the restrictions or what have you. But I don't think there's no real crazy benefits.
I mean, you don't get your stats on bowl.com.
You don't get your stats. Yeah, you don't get your stats on bowl.com. If you shoot a 300, it's not technically registered, but I don't think anybody cares. I haven't filled out paperwork for any 300s in a while.
I haven't filled out. No, I haven't. I don't think I filled out any last year.
I think I filled out.
I had like 4, and I didn't shoot in.
The last 300 I shot at Royal Crest, Mary kind of makes you do it. She brings you the paperwork. Otherwise, if you don't go up to the counter and ask for the paperwork, they don't care.
No.
So I think I probably got about half my. It doesn't matter. I don't get rings for them anymore. If I was still getting a ring every year, sure, I'd feel.
Why not?
Yeah.
Brian, the other thing to touch on that too is if you have an old average and you're not sanctioned and you do go into a tournament, I saw your question. You will have to go and scratch at 220.
Yeah, that's the other thing is if you don't, it creates an established average.
Yep.
So if you go to a tournament that is sanctioned, that does have these rules, and you don't have a qualifying average, you're bowling scratch.
The other negative thing too, which is not negative because it's not a huge fee, but if you buy your card online and just buy a card, say you want to bowl your local city tournament, you're still going to have to pay the local fee. So you're still going to have to pay your local dues fee, which is it varies everywhere. What was Topeka's, for example? Was it $10, $7, something like that?
No, Topeka's is 7 because I think the total is 22. And that's the other thing is people don't realize that most people pay $25 for their card. Yeah. Only $15 of that goes to USBC. The other $10 goes to your local association. So instead of asking what your local associate or asking what USBC is not doing for you, ask where your $10 or almost half of that sanction fee is going, or what your local association is doing with it.
Yes, because you're good. That's definitely another.
I gotta go get the good stuff.
Oh, you're good. That's.
I'm gonna have you finish that off while I dip into my stash.
And now he leaves me. Not sure I should do it with my hands. No. That's the other downfall of that. So it's a matter of if you want awards or stuff like that. So once again, you can enter a tournament if you buy a card online, but you'll still have to pay the local association fees. So.
You'll have to excuse my friend. He's a little slow. I already brought it down.
Oh my gosh! Did you really?
Yep.
So there you have. Oh, so Paul Burnett asked a little bit ago. Did you buy the Verity Crawley signature T-shirt that was limited time?
No.
I'm surprised you didn't.
No, I'm a fan. I'm not a simp.
Keep it PG, Haas. It's PG, I promise.
Yeah, I am a big fan of Verity, but I'm not. I have from the. I can send her something on Messenger. I have her email address, her business email address. I can talk to her anytime I want, but I haven't said a word to her since the interview I did with her like a year and a half ago.
Awkward.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm super awkward, borderline creepy, but I'm not that creepy.
No, you're not that bad. Good stuff. Frank's Red Hot Bloody Mary.
Yeah, I've still got some of that down there.
There's still 4 cans to be exact.
And you never tasted it.
Yes, I did. The very beginning.
Oh, okay.
I didn't taste it when you got to the middle.
Yeesh. Okay, you can have the rest of that, number one.
But drink it out of the ginormous can.
Sure.
I makes my hand look really small, as if it's not already.
Yeah, I'm going to dip into this since you're not going to have any of this.
What is that? The sour? Yeah.
No, this is the smoked sour.
Nope. By the way, did everybody see the thumbnail with my head with Iron Man? Pretty legit.
Yeah.
Pretty legit.
Yeah, since I've been talking the whole time now, you can talk about your tournament experience here. You are going to have to try this, though.
I'll try it. Oh, are we ready to get into the Iron Man?
Sure. I think we rambled and blathered about this. It
doesn't matter. So this past weekend, I did a new experience, and I traveled to Omaha, Nebraska, and I bowled 1-day event, 16 games, and we bowled on 2 different patterns. The first 8 games was a long pattern. We bowled on.
Hand me the toilet paper there.
Gotta wipe your butt.
Yeah. No, I just dribbled all over the place.
I'm just kidding. So we bowled on the Statue of Liberty, 47 feet, and they did not play easy, which actually turned out to be the easiest of the 2 patterns. And then we bowled the back 8 after a break, if you call it that. We bowled 8 games on Cheetah, and Cheetah was how far is that from you guys? 2 hours 45 minutes, 2 hours 40 minutes, something like that. Yeah, this hour.
This is the style of this is actually called a Lecht beer. It is a smoked sour.
So we started 8 a.m. No, are you making me try it now?
But you have to smell it first. You have to smell it first.
Oh, no. Is it barbecue?
Yeah, I knew you were gonna like. I knew you weren't gonna like the taste. But yeah, it's very kind of interesting because
with that.
You get the you get like the smoke up front. You smell the smoke of it.
And then it tastes like it smells. I'm sorry.
And then it's like well, but yeah, it's kind of sweet too. So it's sweet and smoky.
I got all smoke. Not gonna lie.
It's a really weird thing here. It's a smoked beer.
Put my phone down. My phone keeps trying to fall out of my pocket. But so anyways, we bowled 16 games. 8 was the Statue of Liberty. The back 8 was Cheetah. Let's just say Cheetah was impossible.
Yeah.
The Statue of Liberty was not fun. I did have to, like I said earlier, I had to take, just to get the ball to pick up and corner, I had to take a Black Widow 2.0 and hit that bad boy with 1,000, chalk her up real nice, and she finally saw the lane right. But we started at 8 a.m. We finished at 8:30 p.m., so we threw 16 games with a 45-minute break. And when they tell you we're starting the lanes at 2:20, they didn't even make an announcement. They just turned them on. Report to your starting pair, and you go. And
it's funny you say that.
I'm still here.
Bry Guy and SI.
You guys have to start drinking some Doppelbock. Yeah, that's what we're drinking right now. Well, I am.
Yep.
I'm drinking the barbecue sour.
Yep.
Whatever that is.
My brother gets around. He does all kinds of stuff. Like I said, I'm drinking a smoked sour right now.
Don't talk about it like that.
And I got a couple growlers of the creamsicle because my wife really likes the creamsicle. She wanted some before they were out of that, and they're almost gone. They actually blew the keg while I was getting these, and
today?
They had one little.
Was that today?
They had one little pony keg left, and so we've been meaning to get over there and get some, and so I got over there and.
Striking Viking's still around, or is it gone? Really?
Nope, Striking Viking's still there.
I think
I think they still have some of that. Maybe not. No, it might be gone actually because the Doppelbock was on the bottom.
This Doppelbock is legit.
Yeah. So the Doppelbock was on the bottom today. So yeah, they must be out of the
That's
striking
good stuff.
Vikings. So
That's good stuff.
yeah, Charmeleon.
Yeah. Was it like the blend of cheetah and Charmeleon y'all bowled on a while ago?
Charmeleon?
No, it was legit cheetah. It was legit cheetah. I started out throwing a purple hammer, shocker, and I quickly got out of the purple hammer and got into Forge Flare on that pattern. Threw a Forge Flare for a while. I was having an issue with. I was a little tired. I was having an issue getting the ball to the gutter soon enough, as you know, on cheetah. So I was having a little bit of an issue getting the ball to the gutter soon enough, as you know, you have to do on cheetah. So what was happening is if I didn't get it there quick enough, it was just going to go 60 feet. Well, it would wash out, basically. I left more washout in my life in 16 games than I ever have, both patterns. So had to make shots. They were extremely hard. Trevor, our local guy you've heard us talk about several times, he was well over 100 under in the first 8 games. And when's the last time you've heard that?
So it would have been terrible for me. So
they were impossible.
I would have been mad. I'm going to get some practice in.
They were very hard, and it's something I will do again, but I will tell you that I will stay the night afterwards. We almost died by hitting a cow on the way home. Yes, I said a cow.
Midwest issues.
Yeah, a big cow, too.
Yeah.
And we just missed it. Like, the semi right in front of us hit it, and it was blown up. But yeah, it was a fun time. I will say it was something I've never experienced that many games in a row. I bowled the most I've ever bowled in one tournament setting in a day is 12. My fingers hurt. They still hurt. Body feels pretty good now, but
yeah,
I'm not sure I can still get in my equipment. Liga is still up in the air for tomorrow. I can work on the thumb. I can buzz that out, but it's the fingers are what I'm worried about. So we will be doing. You'll definitely have to try that next year. Ironman tournament, we bowled for a championship belt and some money, of course. Dylan almost got it.
Better next year.
Almost got it.
But yeah, I don't have any kind of problem bowling that many games. Anthony and I bowled 14 back to back. There was 2 7-game blocks.
Yeah.
Back to back, and we pretty routinely.
It wasn't that bad. The problem with it was they were so hard. You threw 2 shots a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're throwing, you're just basically doubling everything up. They were hard. I mean, on Saturday, not the fresh, but the first pattern, I threw a Jackal Ghost for a little bit. It wasn't cornering enough, so I wasn't getting the 10s out. So that's when I chalked up the 1,000. In practice, I chalked up 1,000 grit, Black Widow 2.0, threw it for a little bit. Game 2, Austin Bowles walks up to me because Austin Bowles was blown to the right of me, and he says, "Yo, lane 30, the heads are gone after like one full game." And he said they're just cornering so bad on that one lane. My first shot aced it off my hand. I mean, just absolutely aced it. And I even did the douche canoe.
Yeah.
The step. Hand, and step out with the hand, and the ball goes zonk. And I looked at him in and I said, "Uh-oh." So I split, I get count, and I go over to the left lane and aced it off my hand, strike. And then I go over again. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make like a 2-1. Something not a huge move, but just enough, and trying to change a little bit of hand position. Same thing. That pair kind of doing to me. But yeah, it was a rough day. Yeah, okay. The hardest part of the weekend, not the weekend, the hardest part of the day was after we bowled 16 games, I immediately had to get into a car and drive almost 3 hours home. So Amanda almost had to give me a wheelchair to get out. Oh, no. What are you doing? Oh, I was like, what are you? It wasn't on my screen yet.
Yeah.
I thought you were trying to scratch my back. So you definitely should do that. Tons of side action. They had optional doubles, but you can pick your partner. Yeah. It wasn't a blind draw. And I told them I think they should do a blind draw.
Blind draw would be fine. $20.
Yeah.
$20. Blind draw, just see what happens.
They had the optional doubles. They had a big dog.
Yeah.
Which is basically a super side.
Mm-hmm.
All the side action you could possibly want. You can make good money. The problem with it that happened, Zach Wilkins got in for $550, the back 8, and they forgot to put him in. So they knew they put him in. They knew they put him in, and they just forgot to put it in the system.
Oh no!
So they had to wait on payout for everything after everybody was done.
Yeah.
So it held everything up. So like Dylan, for example, who had amazing day. He finished in 4th, I think.
Yeah.
He was leading through game 14, had a chance to get it. And guys like him, Trevor didn't make any money. He had to sit and wait.
Oh, no.
They had to wait 2 hours after we were done.
It shouldn't take that long.
Well, it was because they had to go right back through and argue with people because some people got knocked out of brackets that thought they were getting money in finals.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big deal.
Yeah. I guess that would have been.
Yeah, that was a problem.
So.
But it was a fun experience. It's something you definitely need to do next year, I think.
Yeah, I don't have any problem bowling that many games.
I wish they wouldn't. It was only 160 entries. That's not terrible.
No, that's fine. Normally they do $10 per number of games bowled or something close.
We were 3 on a lane, which sucked. So it slowed the pace down a little bit, but we hit every pair. So we only moved 1 pair to the right instead of, skip 1.
Yeah.
We moved 1 pair to the right. And where we finished the first day, we just started after our 45-minute break. Not even enough time to leave and eat. We started on the pair that was just directly to the right where we finished. So It was a lot of fun. Like I said, my fingers still hurt really bad. My thumb is still swollen. But I had a weird thing I wanted to talk to you about too. This is crazy. Over the weekend, I normally there it is, Victor Cortez. His name wasn't in his bracket form for the back 8, but it got it all. That's right. That's what it was. Thank you. Appreciate it. Actually, Victor Cortez, weren't you the winner, sir?
Oh.
I think you were the winner, weren't you? Help me out. I'll wait till he comments in here. But no, instead of swelling, my thumb didn't swell a ton. I was actually shrinking during the day. I had to keep adding tape all day long. I bet I added, between both thumbs, I switched into my backup.
Mm-hmm.
After between the two squads, I bet I added eight pieces of tape, which is crazy. Amanda thought I was nuts. So no, it's falling off. Yep, had a good day on Cheetah. Yeah, attaboy, congratulations.
Sounds like you did, sir.
He bowled well. I think, Victor, didn't you shoot like 250 there at the end to seal the deal? I think it was a big game there, game 16.
The Charkmeleon?
No, it was Cheetah. I just couldn't get. Like I said, I couldn't get to the ball to get the ball to the gutter soon enough.
They say cheetahs never prosper.
That's right. But yeah, I thought he won once I saw his name. I remember somebody telling me that he had a big last game to kind of leapfrog. So I didn't stay long enough. Thank you guys. Love the show. Thanks, Victor. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah.
But it was a fun time. You definitely need to go do it. They're always great hosts out there in Omaha. Matt Tomsu is fantastic.
Yeah.
He owns the bowler store.
Mm-hmm.
And his shop is amazing. It's inside the bowling center.
Yeah.
But it's so he's got his own little entrance on the outside, so he can actually have his own hours if he really wants.
Okay, that's good.
But its tournaments are great. Another one we need to hit is the Tomsu, which is the one with the seniors and there's a team event and all that stuff.
I'd like to go to holiday doubles too. I know that's
kind of. They just added a 5th squad.
Yeah, I saw that. So
holiday doubles would be a fun one. We can go hit it whenever. Hopefully, I'm bowling better. Plus 109 on the long, 243 on the short. My man. How you went 243 over on the short, that's amazing. That's good stuff.
Sweet.
What'd you throw? Just curious.
Yeah.
What'd you throw on the short that
urethane?
200. I bet it was urethane.
Yeah. Pitch black or purple hammer, which one was it? Was it the black one or the purple one?
Pick your poison. See, I thought a lot of people were going to get into reactive. I thought we were going to throw urethane for a while early and then kind of jump into reactive late. And I just didn't see a ton of it. The guys on my pair threw urethane the entire day. Well, I'm sorry, the entire back 8. But
yeah,
it was a lot of fun. I got to bowl with some really cool guys that I never met. All good guys.
Oh, okay.
I did get to meet one of our viewers.
Oh, okay. I remember somebody saying that
he sat down and actually had lunch with Trevor and Dylan and I. And
oh, cool.
Well, I drank beer. They ate.
They had lunch. Yeah.
They had lunch. Sign me up for the senior stuff. Go bowl the Tomsu.
Yeah. See, that might be a thing. Hopefully I can be good by the time I'm qualifying for the senior stuff at the 50.
There you go.
I would be okay with that, actually. I think my competing against it's going to be a while. But if I kind of got that, I keep forgetting about that I'm kind of worried that, with all my issues and switching back and forth and whatever, that I'm kind of running out of time to be competitive. But there's different competition.
You've got 10 years.
Oh yeah.
You've got 10 years. Don't sweat it.
Well, and then even when we get there, then
There it is.
I can be the old guy. Yeah, pitch black. Yeah.
Up the lane with a 1,000 pad.
Charkmelian.
Yeah, Victor, I don't know if you've heard us talk about it, but we bowled up. We're supposed to bowl in the cheetah pattern one time at Ward Parkway in Kansas City, and they didn't strip.
They didn't strip and laid it over the youth
and the youth and the cosmic bowling or something.
Youth and cosmic bowling house shot.
Oh, it was terrible.
They laid it down Friday night. They bowled cosmic on it. Then the kids bowled on it Saturday morning, and then they laid cheetah on top of it without stripping.
I literally bring in a bag of urethane. I had like 3 urethane bowls with me. Well, I had 1 urethane, 2 microcell polymer. That was when I was with Motive. And I throw the purple or the purple down the lane, and it goes 60 feet. And I even missed it a little left and going. And I was soft with it because it was like one of my first few shots. And I literally looked right at Riley and I said, "Uh-oh." Is it regular cheetah where you can throw it to the gutter? Yes. You want to get it to the gutter early. If you get it there too late, it's going to hang.
Yeah.
So that sounds freaking miserable. It was miserable. I bowled extremely bad that day.
Yeah, Angel and I finished third, and Angel finished second.
They were so spotty down lane. Like it had cheetah tendencies. If you get it there quick enough, it'll do what it needs to do, but it's still not going to do it the right way.
Well, that's the thing is, it didn't really. It had a little bit more hold, or it still had the hold on the inside, but it didn't have the sharpness on the outside. And so I just walked it down 5 all day long. I'm like, well, I didn't really do well, but everybody else did so bad that I think I was plus 70 for 6 games, and I tied for the 4th seed.
Yeah, you had to roll off Bittenbender.
I rolled off with Bittenbender, and I beat him. It took 4 shots, 4 or 5 shots, I think. But beat him, and then I won my first match, and then Lennon Brixey beat me, and then he beat Angel in the championship match.
That's right.
Angel and I went 2-3. That
was the most miserable day of bowling ever.
Oh no, it was so bad. It was so bad, but it was just I dumped it down the 5 board, and I managed to put a couple games together and not do really bad the other ones.
It was so bad.
And
it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever bowled on. Like I was literally ready to walk out after game 2. I will always finish. Riley broke his hand there the next time we were there.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're watching, Riley, I love you, buddy.
Yeah.
But all in all, if you have a chance to sign up for the Ironman, that was the second one they've ever done in Omaha. Thanks again to Matt Tomsu for running a great tournament as always. Please go check out the Ironman tournament. It was an experience.
Yeah.
A lot of fun, and we were full. 96 pullers, I think is what it was, 96. So it was awesome. Once again, congrats to Victor Cortez. He's in here. As you can see him in the chat. It is an accomplishment to win that tournament. So congratulations.
Hats off to you. That's a big deal.
Yes, it is. $2,000 plus plus the belt trophy. So plus everything else he made in side action, I'm sure. Which is harder, cheetah or boardwalk? Just depends on where it's laid down.
Yeah, if it's laid down over Cosmic and a youth house shot, it's pretty hard.
Depends, yeah. Depends on where it's laid down. So,
all right. Let's talk a little playoffs here. We had the, and I don't think that both of us
we're done.
We both screwed up that side of the bracket anyway.
Did I have Troop moving on one more by chance?
No, you had Belmo beating Troop.
That's right.
So that didn't happen for you. And then, of course, you had Barnett, but then you had,
Barrett.
Yeah, you had Packy beating Barrett, and which we didn't have Prather even making it out of the first round. So,
boy, I tell you what, I got some glimpses of that match with KP and Bill O'Neill.
Oh my God!
They had it on while we were bowling the back.
No, it was Prather and Dom.
That's right. They had it on the back while we were bowling the back.
Poor Dom.
Back 8, and KP had it up when he needed to. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the thing that we were talking about when we first started doing the playoff stuff. They drag it out so long that I just don't care. Because it's individuals playing. It's not like it's a team playing. Like if you're in even the NCAA March Madness, whatever, the NCAA tournament drives me insane.
I think it gets drug out
because it's just holy crap. I mean, where it's a month of a tournament that you could do reasonably in a couple weeks.
But it's March
because you got to give the players a couple days. You give them a day. Yeah. You have a game, day in between game. Okay, give it a couple more days. Yeah. Give them like 3 days. Kind of reset.
Yeah,
but it works on the weekend. You don't want to have a Final Four game on a Wednesday.
Are they going live for the Final Four?
Yeah, I think so.
Does anybody know? Comment in the chat. I think they're going live for the Final Four, which is this weekend, right?
No, they didn't.
Oh no, we
haven't even bowled Maldo and AJ. We haven't even bowled this side of the bracket, so they drag it out longer than they drag anything out because they only did the Final Four, or the Elite Eight, I guess, on one side of the bracket. So we've got the other side of the bracket this coming weekend, and then we have the final. Then we have the Final Four, the final weekend. So they're going to drag this 16-person bracket out for a month.
I mean, I get why they do it. It's just more weeks that PBA bowling on TV.
I don't really care. At this point, I don't care because at this point of the year, bowling's over.
I don't like
Everybody's finishing leagues.
Yeah.
They're starting to play golf. They're getting into the summer. At this point, nobody cares.
Sounds amazing.
So, sorry.
I told Amanda on Sunday, like game 14, I'm playing golf. We're bowling. Yeah, that's exactly why they do it, though. But I really wish they could find a way to make the playoffs live the entire time. It's great.
No, they tape everything. They have.
Oh, I know, and I hate the taping crap.
Yeah.
Seriously, do like they do during the World Series. Let's have a show every night.
Yeah.
During the week. Do it during the week and get it done in 1 week.
Yeah.
They can do it.
Yeah, make it awesome.
And actually, the show that they have coming up, the family, that's pretty cool. Did you see it? The Royal, so like Barnes is bowling with Ryan.
Oh yeah, the king of the hill thing.
Yeah, you got whatever. Parker's bowling with Brandon.
Hello, puppy. Measles. What are you doing? Come here, baby.
There we go.
Mistle, baby.
Ronnie Russell's bowling with his son.
Oh no, hi, Tweety Bird.
It's going to be pretty cool. Wes Malot's bowling with his son.
Jordan
it's going to be pretty
Malott,
cool. So, and of course, I find it rather rich that Luke accused others in real life of not being a judge regarding storm touching video while wearing a storm logo.
You got me.
Oh gosh. I guess we can sit. We talked about the playoffs. I guess we can field some questions here for like the last 12 minutes or so we got.
Actually, if you want to go watch some of my videos, you can reference the Timeless video, a couple of Zen Master videos. There's been several balls I've been really critical of, and I've gotten in trouble for being critical of them. So, I mean, the Storm logo doesn't matter. But I mean, if you want to think the Storm logo matters, then you can go on ahead and think that. I don't really care because I know different.
There's a video of Luke's that you can still find. I'm sure it's still there. And if you haven't seen it, what is the one that you did with the Diana Z spoof? Which was it?
Oh yeah, an Intense parody.
Was it the Intense?
Yeah.
Go back and watch Luke's Intense video. Is it still on the channel?
Yeah, it's still on the channel, but you have to find Diana's video, and I don't think that ever got uploaded to YouTube. I think it was a Facebook video that she did, and I don't think it's actually on YouTube, but you have to see the Diana video before you see.
Oh, my God.
Because she did kind of a thing for the kind of a risque video.
She was in the shower.
Of her morning,
What ball was it?
The spoiler.
The spoiler, that's right.
The spoiler. Kind of her morning activities or morning preparation to go out and bowl and whatever, and it was a little risque, and so I did the guy version of it.
You did the guy version of it. My favorite, though, is you walking out the door to get it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, the matchup Pearl review, I buried that ball. I've also buried the Zen Master. So
Fever Pitch was Kendall's favorite opinion video.
Yeah, I mean, if people don't want to, but that's the thing is that there's people not wearing a Storm logo that are not objective about it either. They just want to find a reason to hate Storm, and so they're going out of their way the other direction. So
there's also a lot of staffers that don't wear their logos when they're bowling.
Yeah. I mean, so
you can go a lot of directions with that. So
yeah, gosh darn it, just don't listen to any of the information. Don't listen to the facts or the science or anything like that. Don't pay attention to any of that. Just I'm wearing a Storm logo, so it's all going to be.
The start of the Dark Code video is probably my favorite. Clint says
it's all got to be nonsense.
What's the one was it the camo that you did with the Which one's the one you did with the old video game?
Selling out.
Yes,
Yeah, the camo. That
Yeah,
one,
that was
man, the old
sick.
Contra intro. Yeah, that took me
Sick.
5 or 6 hours just to make that 45-second intro. The rest of the video didn't take
So
me
sick.
near as long as the intro did.
So sick though. That's awesome. But they split the
6
coordinates.
hours.
But, yeah.
But who's counting?
Mm-hmm.
Angel.
Yeah.
Scoring pace low means I can build just normal. I'm sorry, we're just trying to catch up. As we're wrapping up here, the last little bit of time we have. If you got any questions or something, fire it away. What am I doing?
Frank's Red Hot.
No, I'm not doing. I will have one more if you want to do one more.
There you go. Well, I got to finish off this one.
I'm gonna drink
My
this as we finish up. I can get this
sour.
down pretty quick. It says IPA on it, so I know it'll go quick.
I still have some of this in here to finish. So.
Start of the Dark Cup video. I don't remember what the start of that one was. What was the start of that one?
Have you smelled the smoked sour?
No, it smells horrible. It smells horrible.
I see 751.
Hmm?
I see 751.
Yep, I know. We're going.
It's like I said, we got to finish our last 10 minutes here, and people fire us away some question. 9 minutes or whatever we got. We'll sign off about 8 o'clock here. So we went long last week.
Yes.
Angel was mad at us.
I wasn't mad. It was just, I want to go to bed.
I know. I feel your
Yeah.
pain. What I'm going to do is
We got a new bed though.
Yes,
oh yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I-
So yeah, we would just go lay in bed.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go
When
home,
the wife says we need to go to bed, we're just going to bed.
and I'm going to be disappointed by another Red Sox game because we've been walked off like 75 times in the last 2 days.
Dude, did you see what happened to the Tigers?
Yes. Yes.
So the Tigers are up, 2 runs
Mm-hmm.
in the bottom of the ninth, the bottom of the ninth, and there's like 2 or 3. There's 2 on base. Old boy hits the ball into right field.
Oh boy.
The guy just muffs the right fielder, just missed the catch, and so then he finally grabs it. A run scores. He throws the ball in. Well, it comes to home plate, and for some reason, the guy that was on second base just started running to third. And the guy that was on second base just started. The catcher was holding the ball, and the guy on second just started running to third base. And so the catcher's like, "Oh crap!" And so he throws the ball to the third baseman, overshoots him, and so the runner on third scores, the runner on second scores, game over.
Clint says, "Really, we're gonna clown on my Tigers?"
Yeah,
It was pretty bad.
it was pretty bad.
I've watched my Sox get walked off. Like I'm telling you,
it was pretty bad.
we can't find a way to win a game right now, and I get so mad. Last night's game really TO'd me
Yeah,
big time. Was there some questions you're following up on?
No, it's just it seems to me there's plenty of blame to go around regarding the situation with Storm. The truth is, in my opinion, almost always somewhere in the middle of competing views. Except in this case where the science is the science. So the ASTM has said that there is a known variance in the testing plus or minus 2. So whenever they do their testing, they apply plus or minus 2 because that's the accepted range of the variance. All the tests that USBC had were within that variance, except they decided not to add the variance. All the testing that everybody else has done has had them passing without a variance.
Yeah.
And so USBC's testing procedures are rather lax. It's also been proven, too, that the polish contaminates the needle and gives false readings on the durometer. And so when USBC certified the balls in the first place, they did them with surface on them.
Yep.
And then when they failed them, they tested them with polish on them, which Storm showed could, screw up, could falsify the readings point and a half,
Yep.
which would bring all the balls into tolerance without even having the tolerance on either side of it. And so Wriggles did an article on this, and according to ASTM, who sets this stuff, they are the gold standard for testing methodology and, testing equipment, whatever else. They are the absolute authority. According to ASTM, the test didn't fail. So, I mean, at this point, and again, I spent years and years and years in testing fields. And that's just the story. So that's why I told somebody else that I got in an argument with, I said, well, I'm probably a little sensitive to this because I have been in testing labs.
Right.
I have done this. I have specifically tested hardness for years and years and years. And so this situation was handled poorly. The test didn't actually fail due to ASTM's own, the absolute authority wouldn't consider those tests to fail. So USBC is negligent. That's all that there is to do. And
Yeah, I definitely saw it. Sorry. You had another question here. I want you to hit.
Yeah, one sometimes has. So this is fair. One sometimes has to ignore the noise on both sides to find the truth. And yeah, and I understand. Again, that's why I argued against, when people were saying, why didn't Storm just show them testing the balls that failed in the video? I said, because then they're going to accuse no cherry picking. They could dig through this stack of, they have a bunch of people send back UFO alerts. Yeah, they can just pick back and, we'll test this one. Oh, no, that's 72. We're not going to show that one on the video. We're going to find the one that's harder. We're going to find the one that's a year and a half old. We're going to, when they first, or a year old when they first came out, we're going to find that one and test that one because that one's harder. They could have pre-screened everything. They could have set the whole thing up. And so that's why I said that, when people kept saying, oh, well, Storm should have just shown their own testing results. So it's like nobody's going to believe them anyway. They're just going to think, oh, they found the balls that passed. Of course, USBC's numbers said that 100% of their estimations said that 100% of altered realities wouldn't fail, and then Storm just showed one passing on the video.
Once again, some people will never be happy.
They won't. But it's not like anything that Benjamin's saying here is unfair. Again, that's the other thing is that, I realize I'm wearing a Storm logo, but the other thing is, if you watch my channel for any length or extent of time, you know that I don't care. And I've gotten myself into trouble on numerous occasions, especially with my Zen Master video saying that it ought to end up in the dumpster somewhere. That'll get me in trouble too, because it's not good.
The Zen Master.
Some people like it. Yeah, I have a logo on. I can't. Other side, I have a logo on. I can't say that.
It's an S. You got a lightning bolt. I know it says, excuse me, SPI, but
so. And this is another great point. Merely complaining and insulting others doesn't seem to be a winning argument, in my opinion. However, in this case, there's not a whole lot of that going around. It's just the science is what the science is, according to the absolute authority on the science.
Yep.
So, to me, that's open and closed. So, USBC is, but again, it's that those are the testing. That's what they have in their testing procedures. Yep. Nobody's challenged it before, and so if everybody agrees to it, it's like, sorry. I mean, so what if the science isn't exactly science-y? This is what's in our rules, and nobody's ever challenged it before, and so sorry.
Yep.
But I mean,
what do we got here?
Sorry.
2 more minutes. I guess we can do our sign-off stuff.
I have more than 2 minutes more of beer, though.
Oh, he's got more than 2 minutes more of beer, so I guess we'll stay on for a couple more minutes. USBC logic, 2 + 2 = 10. Me, but my math says 4. USBC, no, it's a 10, and hard to say it is final. That's good.
And I think the reason that everybody's complaining and insulting so much is because this is a gross overreaction to even the stuff failing in the first place. And again, we go back to the motive thing, we go back to the Purple Hammer thing, whatever else, USBC is way off base here. And when you come to the point where you're almost bankrupt one company, you cause significant problems for another company, and then you're costing the third company a million plus, at some certain point, you've got to challenge some of this stuff.
No, I agree.
At some certain point, you've got to go down to somebody's level if they just continue to stay down there and they won't come up to the proper level to fight. Sometimes you got to go down and, tangle with them.
Yeah, it's a hairy situation. I'm sure it's going to play out, and we'll all see it right in front of us on the socials. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know.
So well, once again, I mean, I don't disagree with Benjamin, and if he's saying that it's like, well, it's rather, you're saying this, you got a Storm logo on, okay. That's fair. It's not like it's an unfair comment. Go watch some of my other stuff that's got me in trouble first.
It's not like me saying, "Hey, I'm wearing a Coolwick logo, but the jerseys are awful."
Mm-hmm.
But they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Obviously, the jerseys are amazing.
Bam. Even I actually worked with Austin the other day. Wants to get his shops involved with it, so that's awesome.
What? Austin Bolds?
Yeah, he wants the shops to get involved with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With what? Cool Wick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Make it an authorized pro shop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Cool Wick's great.
I hooked him up with
Yeah.
Jim. So.
Yeah.
Storm
All
Dog
this
walking
stuff.
around behind you. Yeah.
Cool Wick.
Storm
Cool-
Dog.
Oh.
Actually, Storm Dog is right here. Yes.
Storm Dog Buddy.
Yeah. This
Storm
jersey
Dog.
once again
Come here, buddy. Storm.
we've said it
Storm.
several times
Come here.
on the show
Buddy.
in the past, but that jersey
Storm.
looks
Come here.
amazing in person. What really pops
Oh, yeah.
is the bottle.
Yeah,
tops.
the bottle tops. I thought that was crazy.
That is sick.
I mean, it's so crazy. What I mean, on the
stock photo
website,
looks-
I'm like, yeah, they're gonna look kind of blurry when we get them, but no, you can see all the beads.
The stock photo is so awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is great. Hi, buddy.
I need one, but
Hi,
I
buddy.
can't get one
Hi,
without
buddy.
without a Bull brand
Hi,
logo.
buddy. You just Storm Dog, buddy. Hi.
And I guess I could pretend I'm a bullfighter or a motive staffer. Motive staffer. I saw a post that somebody was trying to do something similar with bullfight that we were doing that we started up on the
I
Cool
know.
Wednesdays.
Storm Dog, buddy.
That's been on my
Good
mind
buddy.
all day. It's not like I could pretend that I was a bullfight staffer at one point, but pretend that I'm a motive staffer. I guess I can get a motive logo slapped on there.
Yeah.
No, I want one. I want one with the Cool Wick or even 12 bagger across the front. I'm gonna start ordering some more 12 bagger stuff because 12 bagger is
Oof.
it's a brand that
Big dog.
Cool Wick
That puzzles.
owns and they kind of produce too. So they make some cool
Hey,
stuff. They need to make free agent logos. I know,
Come
right?
Come here, Mister.
I know.
Sweetie bird.
Storm Dog fails every Durometer test for softness.
Yeah. Come on, buddy.
Petting-
Mister.
now we're on part of the show where we're petting dogs.
I know. Here's your good mistles. I know.
Petting the
Good
dogs.
Sweetie bird. Good sweetie bird.
That's so
Think you
good.
get too
Storm
fat.
Dog fails every Durometer test.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Storm Dog's got
He's like one of them fleece blankets.
he's got a lot of energy, that dog does. Fastest dog alive. I tell you what, he put the juke move.
Mm.
You doing Zen Soul review, Luke?
Angel is doing the Zen Soul review.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
had
right.
considered briefly doing it, but I've gone through two Zen Masters. They all rolled bad. Actually, the first Zen I got, I liked through the review, and then either it got bad or I started throwing it bad. I'm pretty sure it's the ball. But
No.
and then both of the Zen Masters I had, and they all four of them had different layouts, and that core is too early. The cover's strong, the core is too early. So for the Zen slot in my bag, the Phase 3 works better for me, and for the Zen Master slot in my bag, literally anything else works better for me.
Give me the Zen.
So Angel was interested in the Soul, and so we're gonna do the review for her, and the review will be out next Friday.
Oh,
So
okay.
it'll be May 6th. We can release videos 21 days before the release date. The release date is the 27th of May. The Zen Soul is just a hybrid Zen.
Wait, that's
It's
right
the
before
same.
Memorial Day.
Yeah, it's the same cover formula. It's just a hybrid where the Zen was a pearl and the Master was a solid. So the Zen Soul is the hybrid version of that cover stock. So it should be, but it's also 2 parts pearl, 1 part solid. And it is coming at the 4K fast finish.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be a little closer to the Zen than the Zen Master, but we'll see. I don't know yet, but
I'm going to order another Zen pin down. We're going to do it. But I'm holding off just for, as you know. So I'm holding off for personal reasons till I hear back on something, and then, yeah.
that's what I would think that if I went pin down on a Zen, it'd probably be fine for me, but I already have the Phase 3 there. I have so many balls in that general slot there that I don't need to try to force something to fit if it doesn't. So I've got a Marvel Max Force that goes there too. I've got 2 Phase 3s. Actually, I have 1 Phase 3 now. I have a Phase G. I have all kinds of stuff that goes there. So
I still need to get rid of all my motive stuff.
Mhm.
It's all still sitting down there like, sell me. Sell me.
Oh yeah, Paul said something earlier about maybe I can probably snag a Crowler, one of these of the creamsicle for Ashley. I have to figure out when I can get back over there.
Don't know when we'll see them, though. I guess we can keep it in
Yeah.
the fridge.
Oh yeah, Once you put it in the crown, once you can it, it'll be good for a while.
They'll
That's
be,
the benefit
they'll be in
the
Topeka in July.
cans and
But,
stuff. Yeah, but
or Paul and I are actually trying to squeeze into state because there's still some time left, and we can squeeze in for singles and doubles. I'll do it. But
Yeah. I need to see where we're standing this day. I didn't really do too bad.
got Pittsburgh still going on. That's something we need to hit because I'm not going to Pittsburgh. So.
Oh my god, I love Pittsburgh. Any excuse to get down to Pittsburgh. I might have to take. Well, no, Pittsburgh. I'd have to get to that Fifth Street bar at. Whenever we go to Springfield, I don't want to go down through Pittsburgh to go to Springfield.
I actually have a friend that bartends at Fifth Street.
Oh,
Yep.
Fifth Street's great. Yeah, the owner's there all the time. Super cool dude.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend that
Super
bartends there.
cool
He's bartended for a few years. from what I understand.
Everybody there is awesome. It's one of those places that you kind of look at and it's like, this looks dodgy. Then you go inside and the bottom area is kind of like, oh, this is your
Is it the upstairs you were telling me about?
Yeah, it says it's your solid dive bar. And I told Adam Riley to go there. And I said, you got to go upstairs because that's where they have all the craft beer. They got like 20 craft beers on tap.
Yeah. They
They have pool tables. They have dartboards. All the bartenders you recognize when you walk. And even then, because we only go there, for bridge inspection, we only went there once or twice a year.
Yeah.
And then the bowling tournament, we'd go there once a year. But you recognize the same people. The owner's there all the time. It's just one of those great, solid places that doesn't pretend to be, better than they are. But they're not one of those places that just like, we're a dive bar, so we're gonna be grungy.
That's awesome.
That's really, really good. And yeah, Adam said it's like, oh my god, this place is amazing. I think Bruce went there with him too, and he's like, yeah, this is just the place to go.
Never been there, but I've seen so many pictures of it. Just because, I know a guy that
it's ridiculous.
And we've got Springfield. We got the Greater Ozarks coming up at the end of May.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. I don't even care how
weekend before Memorial Day, right?
Yeah, so weekend before Memorial Day, and we still need to talk to you about Branson stuff too.
No, Pittsburgh, Kansas. Actually, Pittsburgh, Kansas. It is the home of Pittsburgh State University.
Pitt State Gorillas.
Yeah. It's a big tournament. They actually run 2 a year.
It's
run a mixed one too, don't they?
Yeah, the mixed the mixed.
They run a mixed one.
And that's in August.
Yes, the mixed one's pretty big too, right? If I remember right, but
yeah.
Branson talk. Yep, we definitely need to talk about that. What finish do you use on your P3? You ever tried service?
I knocked the shine off of it. But then I just usually let it lane shine. So I'll knock the factory shine off of it and then let it lane shine. I like the shine. It's a strong enough cover that I kind of like the blend. It's strong enough. If I go too much crazy, because that's a really strong core. People forget that it's 248.051, which is really, really crazy strong for a symmetric ball.
Yeah.
Very early rolling. But it's very continuous too. So it's very even, continuous climbing. So I really like the shine on it. The phase 2, phase 3 are good with lane shine, and they're just pretty solid rolling bowling balls.
Mark Sherman going to Pittsburgh this weekend. What can you tell me?
Oh, I haven't been. Forever. I've only bowled there once. I've only actually bowled there once. I've been there a bunch for work, and I bowled there once, and I made a bunch of money the one time I went. I think they have twister pins, but carry there is generally tough. And I think that's the thing. I carry better than everybody because the shot's not really difficult. It's getting the corner pins out. It's kind of like a gauge type of thing.
Or Emporia.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just you hitting the pocket's really, really easy, but getting your angles and the shapes right to get the pins down.
Twisters like this more than like this.
Well, and that's when I did my stuff in Pittsburgh. I played like, I don't know, 9 to 5, 8 to 5, 10 to 5, something like that. So just a little swing.
So you're basically standing right on top of it then.
Yeah, right on top of it, putting it just in when you're bowling really well, doing the exact same thing as that in Pittsburgh.
Just throwing daggers.
Yeah.
Daggers. Yeah.
So yeah, I had my Pittsburgh weekend was about like your single set in Tulsa.
You'll know when I'm going to have a good day.
Yeah.
If I can stand on top of it and throw daggers, I'm gonna. I will have a good day. And there's times though too where I can get left, and if I need to create some angle, I can do it. But the twisters though, I can't get 10 pins out when we have to create angle. And there's times where you don't have a choice; you got to create angle.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, I'll take twisters over dead Dead pins my center has. No, I hate twisters.
I love twisters.
You know what? I don't mind them.
It depends on where they're at.
Yeah,
At Gauge, they're pretty rough. They're pretty rough at Gauge. At Westridge, they're okay. In Belton, generally do kind of okay in Belton. At Gauge, they're pretty rough because you're either going to shoot a bunch or you're going to shoot nothing.
I tell you what, I blower
Nothing.
8. I blower 8 and 9 a lot at Gauge, but I blower 8 and 9 more at Aaron's than I do at Gauge.
Yeah.
Nothing pisses you off more than that.
And Royal Crest has wood pins, and it's been tough. So I haven't really been able to tell the difference. But actually, I've been bowling better at Gauge Center than
pit equals hit
Gauge
hit light and you'll carry, not at Gauge necessarily.
Yep. Yeah, Gauge is weird because again, twisters like smooth ball reaction, and Gauge is the sharpest ball reaction you'll ever find anywhere on the planet.
All the 3D offset has become a money staple.
Yeah.
Obsession Tour and 3D offset.
Yeah, my reality looked really good the last several weeks at Gauge.
No, we have not bowled on string pins yet, but I would definitely try it once. Twisters seem to get knocked over by rolling pins very easily compared to Royal Crest.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If you hit the twisters light, generally they fly around a lot. Wood pins don't fly around a lot, but you don't leave the stone like the drive-by. Like a Gauge, you're going to leave a bunch of really, for a righty, you're going to leave a bunch of solid 7s, wrap 10s, drive-by 9s, stone 8s, slightly high 4 pins, where you're going to get more of those hits at Royal Crest, but you're not going to get the side-to-side crazy messenger pin action at Royal Crest that you get at Gauge because of the twisters.
I blower 10 harder at Gauge than I do anywhere ever.
Yeah, it's insane.
You literally see the ball off your hand, and you go, that's just absolutely ace. Goes to the pins, and you have no idea how it 10 pins.
Yeah.
You just look at it and go, how?
Because it's almost like the 6 pin comes forward first and then goes around the 10 instead of just kind of...
You want to fry? Bowl 34 weeks of Gauge bowl.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating, man. Like, you just...
And shoot 790 one week and 590 the next week.
It's easy. You can do it there, though. Mm-hmm. Like, pair to pair, that place is just a different animal. And I don't know. I blower... that's what I was telling Amanda the other day, is I blower 10 harder at that place than anywhere I ever bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you literally could throw a shot and go, how? Why? I just don't understand it. So, no string pins yet. I definitely would like to bowl on some string pins.
Wamigo has them.
And then when I hit light at Gauge a lot, even in Aaron's, and it's probably my rev rate, but I swish 7 a lot when I hit light with twisters. Swish 7s for days.
I leave more. I leave more 10 pins sometimes at Royal Crest than I do 7 pins.
No, it doesn't shock me.
Because those string pins are...
I don't want to bowl on string pins like on a weekly basis, but I wouldn't mind to go practice.
Yeah, it'd be fun to go try it. Yeah, we might have to go down to... That'd be a fun video actually to do, is go down to Wamigo.
How far is that?
It's 50 minutes. It's right down Highway 24.
We can go do that.
So yeah, Wamigo's not very far away. It's a little bit further than Lawrence. It'd be like driving to DeSoto or something.
Yeah, we can definitely go do a video.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be cool. I
drive down there.
Yeah, the string pins. Yeah,
8-lane center, 10-lane center.
Bowling on string pins on a permanent basis sounds like zero fun, but bowling with it, like for go practice, it's kind of like duck pin or candle pin. I really want to try it. I wish I lived in an area that had it because I would 100% do it. It'd be a lot of fun. Duck pin and candle pin, right? Those are Anyway. What else do we miss here? String pin equals leaving a wrap 10, and 3 seconds later, 10 magically falls over. That sounds like heaven.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I love it.
What's wrong with that?
You look at it, you're about to fry, and that's what I thought. Sorry. Go ahead, Luke, plug that.
Plug it? Yep. Discord server, Patreon is $5 a month. We also added a new tier that has some extra benefits. But there's a lot of stuff in the $5 tier that we don't advertise just because we don't want people in there for the perks. We want people in there because you actually want to be in there with the community. We also have free channels on the Discord too. So all you have to do is go to that link and we have some free channels. But if you want to pay the $5 a month for For the Patreon, you can link that to your Discord. Then we have a bunch of members. We have like 15 member channels. We have virtual leagues. We have organization for tournaments. We have
Cooking.
Yeah, we have cooking channel. We have a nutrition channel. We have a mental health channel. We have a motive channel. We have a Brunswick channel. We have some other channels. We have a dog channel or a pet channel, basically.
Share your petties.
We have some other benefits that I don't, again, want to mention just because I don't want people in there for the benefits, but there's extra stuff in there. Generally, when people show up and sign up, they don't leave because they're like, holy crap. And then beyond that, we have another tier on top of that now that gives you access to a special channel and some perks beyond the perks. So
a special channel.
Yeah. And then, of course, I added, there's a new function on YouTube where you can add something called super thanks. So you can leave me if you go into any of the videos, it's not on this one, but if you go into the videos down there where the like, dislike, share button is, it'll say super thanks. You can leave us a tip, or on underneath the chat there, you see the dollar symbol next to the emoji symbol.
Yep.
And you can send us some money, send us a tip, whatever else. Thanks if you do. If you just want to hang out and drink beer or watch the stream too, I don't care. So.
Yep. And also, you can join our Instagram page. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, the Breakdown Pair at Instagram, we post all kinds of stuff in there. We haven't been doing a ton of stuff in there recently just because we haven't had time to do some outings. I think recently we
haven't had a lot of time when we bowl like crap. We don't want to take photos for Instagram.
Yeah. Recently we visited Norseman with a group from our Discord that came in town. So we took some photos in there and had some fun.
Oh, they have onion rings now. Did you see my onion?
I don't do onions.
I don't even care. I don't do onions
either. I don't even care.
I don't do onions either, but the onion rings are amazing. They got their distributor left them with 100 pounds of onions. And my brother called him back and said, yeah, we didn't order onions. We don't need 100 pounds of onions. Can you come back and pick them up? I was like, no, it's not really worth our time. So my brother got 100 pounds worth of onions. It's like, oh, I guess we're going to use them.
So might as well sell them, yeah.
So yeah, they're making onion rings. They got beer battered onion rings, and they let me try them today. And yeah, they're definitely legit. They use and the dipping sauce is their po' boy sauce.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like
still made from scratch.
Yeah, they make everything from scratch there, and it's kind of like a citrusy, spicy mayonnaise type of thing. Yeah. It's just typically, traditional po' boy sauce, and they did a little bit of a twist on that for the dipping sauce for the onion rings.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Hopefully they're also running Norseman's Open Bowling Tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Should I be Dave and call you Rostall?
Mm-hmm.
Every week it happens.
I don't think he's messed up yet.
No, he did the first week. The first week. All balls are legal. And then you can also follow us on our Facebook group.
They have the.
Go ahead, you can do that, and then I'll do the Facebook group.
They had the windows open today,
so
they have garage doors there where the windows are at, and so they pull the windows up and down depending on how nice it is. It was pretty nice today.
You sit up there by those windows on a nice day; it's amazing. Yeah. Drink your beer, look outside. And in Topeka, the Noto Arts District that we have, it's like an old school arty area, and it's pretty cool. So
there you go. There are the onion rings and the sauce.
Let me see it.
So, I mean, nice and crispy, and they're not soggy. And
I'll take a bite.
Yeah.
Anyway, follow. I don't know enough of the onions. Follow us on our Facebook group, the Breakdown Pair YouTube show. We have a lot of fun in there. Share a lot of memes. Ask questions, share your stuff.
Slaps barbecue in Kansas City.
That's good stuff right there. Feel free to share your YouTube videos. If you got a YouTube video, promote it. You can use us as a way to share it. We're all in there to like and share if possible. So we have a lot of fun in there. It's become a lot of fun in there. Been pretty active. Lots of memes. Pretty soon here in the coming weeks, we will have on some guests that won our meme contest. We've just got to schedule a time and find out what we'll talk about. And
Kendall, Paul,
Steven.
and Steven, start thinking about something you want to talk about. So I want, think about something, and Paul, it's got to be a little bit beyond swag balls. I mean, you can talk about swag balls, but there's got to be something else interesting beyond.
We can talk a little bit about swag
beyond
balls,
putting some swag in your bag.
Actually, what I would like Paul to talk about is what he's done for Kansas City Bowling with all the tournaments he
yeah.
runs and everything like that.
Yeah, tournaments he runs, and he organizes big groups to go to tournaments.
You
So
can even promote the tournaments that you got coming up.
Yeah, Paul needs to put some swag in his own bag, I guess.
He does need to put some swag.
Yeah,
he has swag
Paul
in his
needs
bag.
to he needs to brag a little bit. He needs to be a little narcissistic, I think.
He does.
He deserves it.
He does. He's put together a lot of tournaments that I've bowled with him now, and he needs to get in here and kind of brag on himself and tell us a little bit the process and how it runs, how he handles all that stuff. So,
and I think Kendall's got some stuff to brag on too. I've seen some stuff on his Facebook page that he could brag about. So,
hey, Kendall.
Yeah, so Kendall, think about what you want to talk about.
Steven,
Kendall's memes are
top notch.
Yeah.
Paul's answer. Swag. Yeah, we know. Don't swag us to death. Get on here and talk a little bit about yourself too. That's kind of want to know too. When you come on here, talk about something you want to talk about. But we also want to know about you. We can talk about like what brought you into bowling, things like that. We can talk about all kinds of stuff. So, and those are getting deleted.
So
that's not going to stay.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You know you've made it when you get comments like that. They're spamming. Man, they're all kinds of them.
Oh my gosh! Get out of here with that garbage.
Yeah, I've really made it on YouTube now. I'm getting spammed.
I've literally, Angel and I are in here trying to delete like 45 of them here. They just, that's great.
Oh my god.
I'm anti-swag, so I'm with you guys. It's not that we're not about that.
I don't.
He definitely can't be. I
don't really care.
Chad Murphy spam box.
I don't know. I even if I wasn't on a Storm, I'd throw Storm stuff. But I do have my that new Revolt.
I know.
I want that.
I tell you what, the blue coral venom looks nasty.
Yeah. I would throw. I probably wouldn't throw a whole lot of.
Use code swag for 10% discount on webcams. Chat. Hot bowlers. Oh.
Yeah. I don't think I'd. I don't really think I'd be interested in much Brunswick stuff because whatever Brunswick's got, Storm has something that's comparable enough. There's some stuff like the Obsession Tour. We don't have one of those.
You don't have the asymmetrical yet. I'm sure you'll have.
The Black Widow Ghost. We've got Black Widow type stuff. 3D
offset. So I can see it.
I'm not. Yeah, but anything that I could find from the Brunswick. Anything I could find from the Brunswick brands. Yeah. Well, reality.
I know.
So anything I can find from the Brunswick brands, I can have in the Storm brands. There's some motive stuff that doesn't really act like Storm stuff. So if I wasn't on staff, I would still be very, very largely Storm.
Did you say some?
SPI anyway. Yeah.
None of it. I didn't see anything. The closest thing I saw was the ripcord.
I would have a Venom I'd have a recoil, definitely. I'm not sure if the shock would work for me. It's a little too forward off the end of the pattern sometimes. Sometimes it likes to leave those super, super crazy flat
right-handed would look nasty for you.
Yeah, right-handed, I'd love it. Left-handed, I'm on the fence about it. I'd want one of those new Revolts, definitely.
Yeah.
The blue tank, I'm pretty sure I'd really like, but it's a promotion, so I don't
Microsoft
think I'd really. Yeah, it's promotion.
I do still have a blank recoil sitting down there.
Yeah, I'd like to have a recoil. I would have a Jackal Ghost. I really like the look of the Jackal Flash, but that's basically a UFO alert. So
yeah, I could see you throw the Affliction, but it's gone.
But yeah, I've already got too many Storm balls that I want to throw that are just sitting here staring at me, getting mad at me.
The one,
I don't throw them,
one I could see you throw would be an Enzo. I think you would like an Enzo.
Yeah, I'd really like an Enzo.
An Enzo would be all right.
But again, I'm definitely. I've already got too many balls to throw right now. I'm definitely not missing anything. So I don't really.
The only one that I'm mad since I decided to leave was the blue coral venom.
Yeah.
Honestly, the blue tank, the Microsoft polymer one. I'm not really worried. Kinetic Black Ice.
The blue coral looks good.
Kinetic Black Ice looks really good.
Yeah, the Kinetic Black Ice looks good, but again, we have a dark code, So I don't.
I think the dark coat's stronger.
Yeah, I'm sure it's stronger. But we got similar shapes, and then with my collection of overseas stuff, I've got every kind of look that I could possibly need, and so I just don't. While I would like to throw some stuff beyond Storm, I just don't need anything outside of Storm. I've already got too much stuff to throw as it is right now. So I just that's just one of those things where you could be I can be abstract, and I could be a staffer guy and say, well, gosh, well, Storm makes the best stuff. I don't need to. It's like, well, I mean, I could score really well with Motive stuff too. I think
Be that
but
guy.
I don't. I like the Storm stuff, so logo or not, I don't really care.
There was a few that I could have seen throw, but yeah.
There's some Storm stuff I hate too, but there was some Motive stuff that you hated. So
I won't name them. I'm not gonna be mean and name them. The Forge.
Oh my God,
I will. Okay, the Forge Fire was ASS.
I'd name them.
Terrible. Forge Fire.
But that's the same thing with anybody. I mean, you're going to have some stuff that no matter what company it is, you're going to have stuff that you like and you're going to have stuff that you hate. And if you try to pretend otherwise or say that every ball's a must-have in your bag,
do you know how many staff
you're just
balls?
an idiot.
Motive, thank you for the opportunity. If you ever get back to this, I love you guys. I walked away for a reason, but if you know how many staff balls I have down there that have literally 5 games on them, and then when we bowl something, guess what I threw? A Jackal Ghost or a Venom Shock.
Jackal Ghost or Venom Shock, yeah.
Sounds like a Motive staffer.
Well, that's the thing. No matter what we put out, I'm still going to be throwing a promotion. I'm still going to be throwing a phase 3.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to be throwing my Attention Black Pearl, which is basically a dark code kind of thing. I'm going to be throwing kind of the same stuff anyway, too. So
the Affliction, I did like the Affliction. I that was probably one of the new releases that came out when I was with Motive that I actually threw a little bit, like the Velocity. Just didn't throw it. I threw it a little bit. Enzo, I probably threw quite a decent amount, but it didn't know what it wanted to do. The Pride, it had its own place when it needed to be. I threw it in Tulsa a little bit on team. Literally, they're sitting down there. Like some of them have some of them literally have less than 10 games. Like they got punched holes. I threw it to film, and boop, there they just sat there. What if Swag and Bigmers? Their name would have to be Big Swag Balls Limited. Oh my gosh, Paul. I'm gonna laugh. That's pretty good. I'm sorry. That's pretty good.
That's John Lander.
John Lander.
Yeah, he's been down here a couple times.
Yep, I actually got to meet him for the first time for the.
Yeah, he was down here for the KC. Yeah, the KC Open.
I wasn't here.
But he was here again for tournaments earlier this year.
It was the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Super Bowl weekend.
Yes, Super Bowl weekend.
Yep.
I didn't get to bowl the KCO because reasons, but I didn't get to bowl.
All right. I'm done with my beer now. My wife is sending me angry emojis.
I've got to go potty.
Yeah, I have to do that too. It's time to go lay in our gigantic king size bed with all the doggos. Storm Dog, you ready, buddy?
Here's just one out. That's it. And Hammer.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody. Once again, we'll be back next week, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Check out the Bowler Show on Sunday at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Yep. We're going to be back this weekend. Dave was bowling Greater Ozarks last weekend, so we decided to skip that weekend too. The Session Tour Solid is different from the Pearl.
I have them both.
I don't want to talk about Super Bowl weekend either. So
the Obsession Tour Pearl doesn't know when it wants to hook.
Yeah.
Once again, the train keeps on rolling on the breakdown pair. We will be back with you every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. unless something changes.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have some kind of other drama to talk about because that drama equals views.
Yeah, so. Bring on the drama. Thank you, everybody. We love you all. Appreciate the support. Keep hanging out with us on Wednesdays and have a cold one with us. So we'll see you next week, 6:30 p.m. Central.